Hi folks, Simon here, welcome back to the channel, and I just want to share this brief update with you from the Final Fantasy VII Remake official Twitter feed. They posted a response that Yoshinori Kitase has recently given to a question asking about how the remake is going to expand upon the original game in terms of the story and what have you. Now we already know it is going to be expanding on the original game, of course, because they're fleshing out the entirety of Midgar, which is a couple of hour experience in the original, to a fully fledged game in and of its own right for the March release next year. Now, one of the things that's been mentioned previously has to do with how the Final Fantasy VII Compilation is going to be related to the remake. A lot of people have been wondering in the past if they were going to be drawing from the compilation for the new game. And what's interesting is that at the time, I'm absolutely positive it was said, because I think I even remember making a video on this, that the response, I don't know if it was Kitase or if it was perhaps one of the other developers or higher uppers, said that it wouldn't be drawing from the compilation, that there's simply too much material even in the original game to really flesh out in order to bring it all into the remake, and that they would only be looking to the original and not to the compilation titles like Crisis Core and what have you, and Advent Children. And yet now they seem to be contradicting that, and indeed they are going to be drawing from the compilation when making the remake and when developing the remake, although it should also be noted that as far as I'm aware, the remake really is its own canon. So don't think because something happened in the original game or something happened in one of the compilation projects that means that automatically is going to happen in the remake or is going to happen in the same way. We really need to try and put those out of our mind when we play the game, because it's really establishing its own sort of thing. But let's just go ahead and see what Kitase has to say here. He was asked about the whole Wutai thing that was mentioned in one of the trailers when Heidegger mentioned Wutai, and he's just giving an answer to that. I'm going to read out the translation for you. I know some of you guys listen to these videos as opposed to watch them, so you can understand what it is that he's saying. So yeah, Kitase says this is one example of how we added depth to them for the remake. After the original Final Fantasy VII, we created the compilation project containing several continuations, and in Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII we depicted the war with Wutai. So we worked in some of the lore from the compilation in order to make the backstory for Avalanche more realistic. And okay, this is one example of how we added depth to them for the remake. That's actually the last point, not the first. Okay, so yeah, I mean, they are going to be drawing in points from the compilation, it seems, in order to flesh out even the Midgar portion of Final Fantasy VII. So please do let me know what you guys think of that down below. One of the things then it appears that is going to be happening here is that Shinra are going to be trying to get people against Avalanche in the remake by suggesting that they're actually sympathisers with Wutai, which is pretty much an enemy of Shinra and an enemy of the residents of Midgar. At least that's how it's perceived. So by putting Avalanche squarely in the side of Wutai, that's obviously not going to make them very popular amongst everybody else. So yeah, let me know what you think about this. Personally, I'm all for it, to tell you the truth. I mean, if they're going to be fleshing out the game, which we know they are, then I'd rather them be drawing from known elements as well, and not just completely ignoring everything that came before. Sure, we're going to be getting new stuff, which I'm looking forward to. But I was never fond of the idea that they were pretending that the projects from the Final Fantasy VII compilation didn't exist, which I was concerned at one point was the direction they were going in. So I'm happy that that doesn't seem to be the case. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are down below. And what other things, now we know that this is the direction they're going in, what other aspects of the Final Fantasy VII compilation you would like to be brought down back into the remake for next year. So share your thoughts down in the comments below. Thanks for checking out the video, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.